Hey guys, Colton here. We'll get back to the podcast in just 1 minute. I just wanted to let you know that my new book, 24 Rules of Masculinity, is officially out. If you've been resonating with the topics we've hit on in this podcast, discipline, purpose, identity, what it means to be a man today, this book was built for you. It's a straight-talking guide packed with hard lessons, biblical principles, and the kind of clarity that I think a lot of us are starving for. So whether you're just starting on your journey or looking to get back on track, I wrote this to be something that you can pick up, apply, and carry with you. You can find the 24 Rules of Masculinity on Amazon and through the link in the description. I would love to hear what you guys think. Now, back to the episode.
Welcome back to another Masculine Essentials episode of Chasing Masculinity. Today, we're diving into one of the most misunderstood traits men chase after: confidence. For most men, confidence feels like this elusive vibe that you're either born with or basically trying to fake until you make it. Culture sells it like it's an aura that you can project if you say the right things, wear the right clothes, or just carry yourself in a certain way, you'll, quote, look confident. But here's the truth. Real confidence isn't about hype or bravado or waiting until you feel good about yourself before you actually act. Confidence is not a feeling you sit around with and hope that it just shows up one day. It's not something that you can chase down and capture. Confidence is built brick by brick, step by step, through discipline, through consistency, through doing the hard things and showing yourself that you can endure. So in this episode, we're going to break down what confidence actually is, why chasing it will always leave you empty, and how you can start building the kind of confidence that can't be shaken no matter what life throws at you. Let's get into it. All right, so let's start by talking about why chasing confidence doesn't work, because I feel like this is the biggest trap for a lot of those young, like 18 to 24-year-olds that are seeing all of these alpha male influencers online telling them how to act, telling them how they can build this confidence and just be this aura exuding man of masculinity. And that's an easy trap that I think a lot of people, including myself, have fallen into, because they're very encapsulating. Those videos, they do what they're intended to do, which is to draw you in and to make you think that their Band-Aid fix works and it's easy and it's this exclusive club that you can be a part of if you just do these few things. But that external validation that they're teaching is very fleeting. If your confidence is entirely dependent on the compliments or the recognition or hype that others are going to give you, that it's going to disappear the second that those voices go silent. Think of somebody who only feels great when his boss praises him. What happens when he's corrected? He could crumble. That social media culture that we live in amplifies this through the likes and attentions, and we like to feel confident through that validation. But it is like empty calories, especially because you're going to be chasing metrics the entire time. If your confidence is entirely related onto metrics, like likes or comments or how well your most recent podcast did, then that is going to crumble the second something inevitably doesn't go your way. And these feelings are then unstable. So some mornings you're going to wake up and you're going to feel motivated. Other days you just won't. If your confidence is tied to an emotion, then it's going to rise and fall with your mood. Just like the athlete who only feels confident when the crowd's cheering his name, But what about when he's training alone in the dark, or he's at the away stadium and getting booed by tens of thousands? Then his performance is going to suffer because he's intrinsically tied his confidence to his emotional state. And that is the fragility of bravado. It's the men who rely on hype or swagger or that external applause. But when you're actually tested, when you're actually put under the microscope, you could crumble. That loud talk of confidence does not equate to a strong backbone. The louder the performance, the weaker the foundation might actually be. So, the key takeaway from why you really shouldn't just chase confidence, or at least why it doesn't work, is chasing confidence makes you fragile because it's tied to the approval or whatever circumstance you are in. Real masculinity is going to require confidence that holds up under pressure. That's that true test, not one that evaporates once that applaud or once those likes stop coming in. So what's the difference then? Well, there's a process of building confidence. True confidence is going to equal competence plus consistency. So the formula could be like skill times your discipline times that repetition. That's going to equal your confidence. It's earned. It's fought. It's not just wished into existence, which is the most boring and sucky answer because it means you have to fight for it. You have to do the things you really don't want to do again and again and again and again, knowing that that is going to build your confidence and that's the end goal. But you're going to have to just live a life of perpetual falling on your face and doing the really hard things you don't want to do in order to be at the point where you have true and tested confidence. The building blocks of confidence are, one, keep promises to yourself. If you are somebody who's constantly lying to yourself, you don't trust yourself. How can you have confidence if you don't even trust in yourself? If you say you're going to wake up at 6 a.m. and train, you do that. That small act is going to start building your confidence in yourself. And that's where it has to start. It has to start internally. And then eventually it will work its way externally and other people will see it. If you break the promises to yourself enough, you're going to teach yourself that your own words are worthless. Then why would anybody else want to believe in your confidence or believe in you? The next building block of confidence is taking on difficult work and enduring it. So think of the man who leans into the hard challenges, naturally develops the confidence through that because he's tested, like taking the cold showers or fasting or long runs or taking the business risks. Is that the man you want to be? Is that the man who forces himself into the hard situations and then becomes a better, more confident man on the other side? Yeah, that's who I want to be. That's that strength, that's that confidence through testing. I don't want a lawyer who is all of this talk and all of this bravado and has all these amazing reviews because of how clean and how modern, how good he looks and how nice his office is, but he's only tried a few dozen cases. I want the guy who has been through hell and back and has seen the worst of the worst and has fell on his face. He is the guy who has the confidence because he's been through it. He's tested himself. That's the guy I want to be. I wouldn't trust myself if I hadn't gone through the difficult things that make me confident. And the last building block of confidence is training your body and your mind. That physical training first, that breeds that confidence because it's forged in discipline. I've said it before, but physical training is the easiest and most tangible way to see discipline turning into outcomes, that consistency turning into an outcome. It's not just that you're building strength, you're building discipline and you're teaching your body how to be consistent. Then the other side of that coin is mental training. So that's that reading, studying, practicing skills. That is also going to build that backbone of competence. You're growing your wisdom. You're growing your mind. And that's going to just inherently make you a better man, or at the very least teach you to perpetually be learning and growing yourself. If there's a man who is lifting consistently, he doesn't need to feel confident when he enters a room. His body speaks for itself. He knows what he's endured. That's his foundation. And whether others see that or not, it doesn't matter because he has that confidence. He knows. Tying this into some scripture, I like to go to Joshua 1:9. Be strong and courageous, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. So that strength and courage are commands, not feelings. Confidence is obedience to these commands. Confidence isn't pride. It's faith in God applied to the actual action. You have been given a gift and you have honed that through discipline and you have worked on it. And now you're using it. That's not pride. That is properly placed skill that you have been given. That true biblical confidence is humility, plus that reliance on God, plus that consistent obedience. Epictetus teaches that confidence comes from the preparation and mastery, not from other people's opinions. A stoic soldier prepared for battle doesn't need to feel hype. He trusts in his training. And then those physical, practical ways to build confidence. Physically, train your body through fitness, through resistance training, through martial arts, whatever's going to physically strain you, whatever's going to physically force you to do something you don't want to do, but is going to ultimately grow you, do that. When you step under that barbell, it forces you to confront that fear and to rely on your discipline and your growth in order to get it back up again. And then the next way to practically build confidence is, again, that mental confidence. Learn a new skill, take on difficult intellectual work, read daily, master some sort of craft. That knowledge sharpens your conviction and reduces hesitation in decision making. It doesn't mean you have to be a master of all. Most people who have extraordinarily high IQs aren't because they're knowledgeable in all these different areas. It's been proven that if you are a subject matter expert and you are the best in the world at physics, you will have a very high IQ, even if you don't know a lot about history or writing or English or whatever else. When you become very honed on one thing that you are the expert at, it has proven that you will have an extraordinarily high IQ. Think of all the stereotypical people when you think of high IQ individuals, such as Stephen Hawking or Albert Einstein. They weren't world masters in everything. They knew their craft. They were really, really good at their one thing. They were the go-to guy for that one thing. And it proved worthy elsewhere. It built their IQ in other areas. So that their knowledge was sharpened through them mastering their craft. The next thing is your spiritual life. So that could be praying daily or just leading your family better, trusting God in those uncertain times. Those men in Scripture didn't wait to feel ready. They just obeyed, and then their confidence followed. Then there's also the social aspect to building confidence. Those are the go-to your YouTube videos that tell you how to act, speaking clearly, holding eye contact, taking stands when others aren't willing to and just want to stay silent. That confidence grows when you practice presence instead of just disappearing. It's forcing yourself to, maybe you don't want to be the center, but you have to be the center right now. And you don't want to say this thing, but somebody has to, and you're going to be the one to do it. Or it forces you to respond to the question that no one else is willing to when you really don't want to. It's putting yourselves in the situations where you're going to ultimately grow. And all of these have a compounding effect. Those small wins stack. Confidence builds like interest in a savings account. When you are completing 30 days of prayer or 90 days of consistent lifting, that is going to build that unshakable momentum. That is building a lifelong habit that will ultimately make you a better man. Now, there are dangers of false confidence that I want to touch on. That's that bravado versus that true strength. So bravado is volume, whereas true strength is silent. It doesn't need to be spoken for. A man who's loud with nothing to back it up will just collapse when that pressure hits. That pride turns into arrogance, and that arrogance turns into collapse. And that is because arrogance is brittle. It's all a facade. So if your confidence is rooted solely in the pride in yourself, that will inevitably turn into arrogance, and that will crumble. Confidence rooted in discipline and humility can withstand criticisms and failures. Somebody who talks endlessly about what he can do but never backs it up will never be able to go toe-to-toe with the guy who's endured the storms quietly, who's trained, who's failed, but he's gotten back on his horse. He's risen again. That man doesn't need to convince anybody. He doesn't have the facade of arrogance. He just has confidence. So, as we wrap this up, challenges or reflection questions. Am I chasing the feeling of confidence, or am I actually building it through action? Think about that. Do you want to be confident, or do you want to be confident because of what it leads to? Do you want to be confident because of how others are going to view you, or do you want to be confident because you just know it's going to make you a better man? Next, where in my life do I need to start stacking small wins? Those little victories add up. Where do you just need a win right now? Maybe it's just going to the gym one time, and then you do that again, and it's just once a week you start going to the gym until you're able to do twice a week, and then 3 times a week, and you're able to consistently do that for 2 months. That small, maybe it sounds insignificant, those will start stacking wins. And if you don't have any other wins, that's where you need to start. You need to find a place where you can get those. And then lastly, what's one area where I've avoided because I don't feel ready? And then what's that one step I can take this week to start building confidence in that area? So find that one thing that you know you probably should be getting better at, or you just haven't been on top of, but you just know you need to do it. What's one small thing you can do to start, again, stacking those small wins? And that can be your weekly challenge. Choose one small act of discipline to keep daily this week. Maybe it's prayer or training or journaling or whatever it is that you're working on. Do it for 1 week. Keep that discipline. Keep yourself accountable. Don't lie to yourself. Keep that promise that you've made and track it every day. Write it down. Keep a note on your phone or a piece of paper at the side of your bed, whatever that is. And then at the end of the week, you can reflect on, has your confidence grown from this action? Not your feelings, your actual confidence. And if it hasn't, then let's expound upon that. Let's aggregate that over time. What if you did that for a month or a year or 10 years? What would your life look like? Then would you be confident? And that can help paint the bigger picture of what we're really trying to do here. What are we really trying to point towards? What's the point of all of this pain and suffering and putting yourself through hard things when you could just go watch Netflix and eat ice cream? When you do the hard things and then you are able to see what that might look like years down the road, that can be motivation. That can help you push through and see the benefit of who you're trying to become. And that's the truth about confidence. It's not a feeling to chase. It's not a vibe to fake. It's not something you're going to find on some YouTube video. And it's not a mask that you only ever put on when the world's watching. Real confidence is built in the dark, in the quiet, in the moments where no one else is really ever going to see you, but you're keeping the promises to yourself that you made. Confidence doesn't come from hype or validation. It just comes from discipline every day, stacking those small wins until your life has weight behind it, trusting God's commands and being strong and courageous, even when you very much do not feel like it. So this week, stop chasing confidence and start building it. Train your body, sharpen your mind, lead your family, stay faithful in the disciplines that matter, and just build it brick by brick until the man you are no longer needs to pretend. You just are. So thank you for tuning in to another episode. Until next time, guys, keep chasing masculinity.